I pulled the worst C6 5-star because I wanted to answer one question. How much does it cost to get the brand new weapon skins in Genshin Impact? And to do that, I was going to pull until I was able to get the 5-star weapon skins by clearing Stygian Onslaught higher difficulty in 180 seconds. But I wasn't gonna just flush my Primo Gems down the toilet. First, I wanted to see how far we could get without pulling by using our existing roster of C6 characters. We got Mawika, Sidlali, Nahida, Claren, and Yelan. We don't talk about the C6 standard 5-stars. And since each C6 5-star is worth about 1,400 USD, we can roughly calculate how much each team costs and add that to how much we eventually had to spend on pull. We won't be counting the cost of C6 4-stars because you basically get them for free when you C6 a 5-star. But just looking at the bosses, we already ran into our first big problem.
Why use Nahida instead of Emily? Maybe we have to use a different team, chat. Oh my god.
Not every C6 5-star could be used. Chamber 1, the Hydro boss, wants a Pyro DPS with a cryo support to get rid of these little shits before they get absorbed. Trust me, nothing else works on them. Chamber 2, the Lava Rock, requires a buttload of Pyro application, preferably burning. And Chamber 3 requires cryo application. I don't have a C6 cryo DPS, so we put Mawika with Sidlali in the first chamber. But with our C6 Pyro DPS being used up in Chamber 1 and our Kinich being dog water, we put Claren in Chamber 2 with a buttload of Pyro application and C0 Skirk in Chamber 3. The first chamber went super well. 50 seconds, which would give us 10 seconds extra on another chamber to get the 5-star skin. The third chamber went...
Oh no, I fucked up. Okay, chat. Nope.
Okay, fuck that. We're getting C2 Skirk. But even with C2 Skirk, our run was 116 seconds. Way over the 60-second budget. Thankfully, we realized this boss actually requires more cryo application. We weren't doing enough to keep this bar at 0. So in this case, C0 Shunha was actually much better than C6 Yelan, bringing our time down to 83 seconds. But the problem really started on Chamber 2. You see, this motherfucker requires a buttload of Pyro application. You see this circle? Every time you apply Pyro, it gets filled. You fill the circle once, you get to chip in a decent amount of damage. You fill the circle twice, you can finally do full damage. And if you do any cryo or hydro damage, it resets the circles back to 0. That means no melt, no vape. But even with the goats, Bennett and Xiaoling, that circle was taking a whole minute to go down twice. So our strategy was to focus on getting Pyro support ultimates for the entire first circle, chipping in some damage with Claren on the second circle, and doing as much damage as possible when the boss was finally knocked down. But even with the strat, we couldn't even clear the chamber, much less hit our goal of 60 seconds. Two big problems. One, Nahida's actually shit for burning because her Dendro doesn't proc on burns. Two, the shield wasn't going down fast enough, so we got rid of our C6 Nahida and tried to make the shield go down faster with Emily burning, Fischl, Yai, Miko. At some point, we even completely swapped out Claren over Ressa, but nothing was working until we found Chevreuse. You see, Chevreuse C4 has a special ability. You can use her skill 3 times in a row, but you have to use it after her ult. And that shit shreds the Pyro shield like crazy. That, along with her overload buffs, able to clear Chamber 2. Oh! We got it! The most unbelievable thing happened. I actually completely forgot that I ever cleared it with Chevreuse. I had reset the run without thinking, completely obsessed with our 60-second goal.
We could clear it in time, but we can't get the 5-star weapon. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's so hard. They're overrated? Okay, maybe it's just my pride, but I really want the shiny shit. I don't know. I'm gonna try putting Emily, actually. Where the heck's Emily?
It would take me 2 whole days of torture trying Mualani that only attacks when the boss is down, switching Mawika to Chamber 2 with Arlecchino on Chamber 1 before I finally remembered Chevreuse again. Thanks to this YouTube video where this mad lad cleared Chamber 2 in 60 seconds with his C6 Claren.
Look how much damage she's doing even without knocking this guy down. What the fuck?
So we copied his build and used Iansan and got a clear time of 111 seconds. My Claren artifacts were too shit compared to this guy. With a clear time of 244 seconds, we were way over the 180-second goal by a whole minute. Not even C6 R5ing every character on the existing banners would save that. We needed to decrease these times without pulling. After hundreds of tries, it seemed impossible until we discovered a 4-star artifact set that would save us. The Instructor set. We could run it on Shalonen and buff our team's elemental mastery. Except we had one problem. Can't farm or even craft the Instructor set. It only drops upon clearing bosses, which take a mammoth of resin. Uselessly grinding bosses. Unless there was one more way we could find it. There was a chance they could drop from Spiral Abyss reward boxes, which my lazy ass had thankfully hoarded a ton of.
Oh my god, I can get Instructor from this! Yes!
Armed with instructors on Shalonen and a newfound animation cancelling, we cleared the first chamber in only 2 Malvika ultimates, bringing our clear time down to 35 seconds.
Oh, let's go!
We're also doing something very wrong on Skirk's chain. C1 and C2 Skirk actually buffs her ult more than her normal damage. So just by spamming ults on Skirk, Chamber 3 now had a clear time of 76 seconds, leaving us with a budget of 69 seconds. Nice for Chamber 2. Or we could bring down Chamber 3's timing to 33 seconds. Very possible if we pulled enough to get C6 Skirk. But there was a very, very, very big problem. You see, I had procrastinated a lot thanks to some distractions. So much that by the time we returned to do this challenge, Skirk's banner was already gone. So we can't even C6 Skirk to help us. Which means the only character we can C6 now isn't Mawika, because we already have C6 Mawika. Do you see where I'm going with this, chat? The only character we could actually pull to save our time was Emily. We just needed to bring Chamber 2 down to 69 seconds, left with no choice. I don't give a shit anymore. Fuck you. We did it. 569 pulls and a C6 Emily later, we still had to buy the battle pass because we were completely broke on Mora, EXP materials, and ores to even build Emily. Okay, wait, chat, give me a second. I'm gonna go buy my freaking battle pass. Hold on. We're throwing more money into this. Our final team lineup for Chamber 2 was now Kinich, Emily, Xiaoling, and Bennett. It all came down to this. It was time for our final run. Alright, Emily, you're C6 style. You better be putting out like the biggest fucking damage in the world, man.
Kettle being C6 abuser, Darudes was right all along.
Shut up!
Where is he now?
Shut up!
Are you connecting the dots?
No! Oh my god, she does not do a lot of damage though, that's kind of a problem. C6 Emily's damage wasn't even close enough to beating the boss. Maybe C6 Emily just sucks. Or maybe our Kinich was just ass because even solo Emily DPS was doing about the same amount of damage. But we couldn't even clear the chamber. It was only after substituting Xiaoling for Amber, whose ultimate does God's work at clearing the shield, by the way, that we finally got a clear time of 119 seconds. 8 seconds worse than my Clorend team. On the bright side, Emily was actually doing more damage than Kinich, so maybe her C6 isn't that as. Anyway, to answer our question, we spent a grand total of 7.7 thousand US dollars on the 4-star weapon skin. The cost of a 5-star weapon skin is technically infinite if you don't have the right banners. Because even if I R5'd both Emily and Mavika's weapons, it still wouldn't be enough to hit the 180-second clear limit. Moral of the story? Don't procrastinate. Actually, just don't get the fucking weapon skins. It's not worth it.